Hey guys, this is our untitled project.
What the fuck?
We literally just agreed we were gonna call it the cabin.
I don't know if we agreed yet.
Okay.
But,
Nothing happens if it's me or Rez.
yeah, it was before the recording, so it didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
Anything can happen in the woods.
Who here is for naming this the cabin?
Yeah, I'll name it the cabin.
I guess I'm fine with it now, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah, group conformity, motherfucker.
yeah, now that it's being recorded, I have to agree.
Okay, I guess that's right. So this is the first episode, I guess, pre-launch title.
Maybe we're just testing the waters. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet. That's
very
what we're going to
cold
talk about, though.
waters.
Look, so we can't be racist or sexist or any kind of ist.
Homophobic, transphobia.
Okay, but like I
How
have
about
actual
just agree to not be a
concerns.
dick?
Yeah, don't be.
Yeah, that basically,
Okay,
that
okay.
basically covers it all.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
can I have questions about? Okay, because you brought up. I don't want to talk about that right now. No, that's too big.
Not be a dick.
No,
Is God
something
real?
else.
Oh,
That's
no.
these are big questions. I'm not comfortable for on the first episode.
As a Lutheran, I vote yay.
You guys want to discuss high tea?
High tea.
High tea.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
God.
Let's talk about high tea. So Connor, please reveal to us about high tea.
Okay, well, apparently from there's this a lot of people think that's bogus, but depending on the ratio between your index and your middle finger, if your middle finger is relatively higher than your index finger, it's suggestive that you have higher testosterone, which means that basically you're like a big beefy boy if your middle finger goes like a meter further
Okay,
past your
but like
index.
Kenny said something a while ago, right? And it was like, don't most people have a higher middle finger?
Oh yeah, like the thing is that it's not just like it's not like a matter of like yes or no testosterone or not. It's like the actual ratio itself
Oh,
between
okay,
the
so
length.
there's a set
It's based on the ratio, not just a matter of whether you pass it or not.
Do you know the ratio?
I don't fucking know.
If someone has like a higher index finger, then what?
Depending on what the ratio is, like on the spectrum of like length, if it's like I don't know, you want your middle finger to be higher than your index, then that suggests that your testosterone is higher. I could be completely wrong. It's good to know that we're starting off this podcast with me potentially making an absolute shit full of myself, but that's supposedly what it means. I think that, well, like, you know, correlation, causation, you can't really just simply say that that's the case, but a lot of tests have been run based off of that, but I don't know. It's definitely not the best way to determine who has the highest testosterone. Just like put like a cork in them and just see how much testosterone.
Oh yeah, that's legal.
You know,
That
that's
seems
the way-
scientific.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just watch them leak T cells.
Oh yeah.
I'll leak those T cells. Oh god.
I have a question though. So, testosterone is important for like growing, right?
In
the
it's
teenage
a
years.
primary hormone for men, especially. Women don't necessarily. They have estrogen, but
okay.
it's very it's very necessary for growth.
I did take health class. I
Yes.
didn't. You didn't let me finish my question.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So-
I'm so rude.
Is testosterone like excess testosterone in later years like really bad for you?
I wouldn't necessarily.
What do you mean by
I'm not
excess?
necessarily an
Like
expert
more than
on
your body.
testosterone, but I'm assuming that too much of a certain hormone can produce problems.
Come on, psychology major.
I'm a psychology. Literally, I'm more into like humanist cognitive and behavioral. You're talking about like strictly chemicals, but the point is that too much of anything is not necessarily good for you. I think that testosterone primarily affects your personality and how your brain works. It could have an effect on certain organs that are related to like men, like testicles,
Whoa there.
the peener.
Oh.
But regardless of that, I don't know. You'd have to look up more yourself. But that's from what I from what I'm bringing to the table. Okay.
I want more testosterone so that I can become a big boy.
No, that's never gonna happen, Kenny. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
We're all 20 years old about.
Listen, you can be an elf, but that's it.
I could be an elf.
Yeah, but
Okay, let's talk about elves and not having enough testosterone.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're really high on estrogen, to be honest.
Do they have?
I don't think you even know what estrogen is, honestly.
I think it's the inverse of testosterone.
Yeah.
It's well, if you're basing like testosterone as like the more masculine hormone and estrogen as the more feminine, Kind of.
Oh, I mean, estrogen, isn't it like, if it allows you to build more fat cells, right? One for one.
This
And
is
then
not the thing I wanted to talk about. But I don't know.
Like, no, I mean, like, it's not.
I don't know what this is.
It's not just that, because estrogen is usually released in excess amounts during pregnancy, right? Okay, great.
We're done.
Good answer.
Great answer. I'm glad.
First
I'm glad
episode
we got
time.
it. Settled.
Elves are good.
Elves are good.
I enjoy a good cup of elf.
Dwarves are better than elves.
in
That's
some cases.
like Elder Scrolls dwarves. Those are really cool. But the thing about Elder Scrolls dwarves is that they're actually elves. So,
Has there actually been a dwarf in Elder Scrolls yet?
well, the dwarves in Elder Scrolls are the Dwemer, and the Dwemer are basically like
Like an ancient race or something.
they're an ancient race that was like used to fight the Dunmer in the east parts of Tamriel, but they disappeared. They didn't go extinct. They literally all disappeared. They were all taken to another plane of existence. The only other one that's still in Tamriel during the game of Morrowind, he was in a different realm altogether, and then he came back, and everybody was just fucking
We
gone.
got into Elder Scrolls territory.
Oh, dude, Elder Scrolls. Oh man, we should talk.
I am suddenly extremely tired
Oh yeah,
and
here,
uninterested.
drink.
I don't want your non-brand drink that you've put on my table.
It's the delicious Dr. Peeper.
Mr. Peter. It's Mr. Peter.
Mr. Peter.
This is Peter Parker.
Okay, actually, can we talk about Spider-Man real quick?
Okay, sure.
Let's talk about Spider-Man. I think Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man.
I think that I think that it was so weird how there was just like a span of time between like the second after Spider-Man 3 came past.
Spider-Man 3
And like
sucks.
after Spider-Man 3 happened, literally everybody forgot about how good of a job he did on Spider-Man 1 and 2.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
he was
a lot of people
amazing.
like that,
Spider-Man 2 is considered to be the best like superhero movie just because it has to like it doesn't necessarily deal with like big topics about the world, but it deals with like a lot of like interpersonal topics about like losing your identity on things that necessarily
Yes.
you can't control.
Yes.
And I think that like he did such a good job like showing like frustration and all that stress and like him eventually giving it up and then finding out, hey, life's pretty good when I'm not this big jumping boy. But then it's like, sometimes you gotta be the big jumping boy. And then he ended up doing that. And then that was a mistake because then Spider-Man 3 happened. But
Oh
afterwards,
yeah, huge
Oh my
mistake.
god.
I think Andrew Garfield was the worst Spider-Man
I
to
think
date.
Andrew Garfield wasn't the worst, but he definitely was like...
No.
No, he was
That's
he was
Tom.
he was
I'm
like
not up to date with this
That's
stuff.
Tom Holland, the teenage boy.
Yeah,
Holland.
okay.
I love how you define
Tom
him as
Holland,
like,
the teenage
the
boy.
person that actually is supposed to be like
Yeah.
Peter Parker. Yeah.
What were you saying about Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield wasn't he wasn't a bad actor, but
He-
like the
he's
way
not-
he
he's not a bad
but like he
Spider-Man.
defined as Peter Parker as being like way too cool, like Peter Parker. Like I've read a fair share amount of Spider-Man comics, but I can't necessarily say like you have too. But
I have.
I can't necessarily like say like Peter Parker does this on his Saturdays and this on his Wednesdays, but him just going out to a fucking shipyard and just skateboarding, that doesn't really.
He seems like a delinquent.
Yeah,
He's like skateboards in school too.
But Peter
And,
Parker
like-
isn't anything like that.
I-
He's the most naff person you could ever meet.
I think.
Naff?
Non-athletic fuck.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, new terms, everyone.
Are
like,
you serious?
I don't
This
think
was a term in high school, Connor.
I've never-
term in high school?
Yeah, I remember it.
I don't.
A lot of the
remember high school.
weird kids use that term.
Excuse me.
Here's what
being honest.
I'll say about Spider-Man.
Okay.
Nobody has ever done a good job expressing Peter Parker irresponsibly using his powers on film. It's always been like, when like he goes to like I think with like Spider-Man 1 they did it okay, where he goes to like the wrestling match, like that's fine.
But he wasn't really Spider-Man.
He wasn't really Spider-Man. And then like it's like for I don't know, like Spider-Man 3, that was a nightmare. That was an absolute nightmare. Oh my god, did they put like eyeshadow on him or
Yeah,
something?
they gave him like eyeliner.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
He was a
But,
real pretty boy.
Then Andrew Garfield, it's just like
Andrew Garfield was too serious.
Oh,
He was
they, like
way too
he was so
brooding.
He was so grumpy that literally the Flash became a good guy. That's how.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's how angry Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was. And then Tom Holland, I hope to God that they, with the origin story, they also skipped the parts where he's just using it inappropriately. Because
Have you not seen the newest Spider-Man movie?
Oh, I have seen
We watched
Homecoming.
it together.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think
I still
that's.
only used $7.
It's no problem.
If you haven't watched it, well, God be with you. But for the most part, it's not necessarily him using it responsibly. It's him being too much Spider-Man in the moment of like where he's forgetting to be like a high schooler instead of actually being like, you know.
I think I don't like that movie.
I think,
Oh, yeah?
I think Homecoming was good. I think
I
that.
thought it was fantastic. I like it better than Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Ooh,
Excuse me.
I do like it better than
strong
Spider-Man 2.
Okay, we're
So
gonna
play,
talk.
like, the
I don't like
special
it.
effects of like what the fuck.
I don't like it because it feels too much like Disney XD. It doesn't feel like a
Well, I could
Spider-Man
see,
movie.
I could see that.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's very kid-friendly.
It is extremely kid-friendly, and I dislike that. I don't like the Flash.
I think it's probably.
I think that's the Flash and Ned are the two main things I hate about that movie.
Well, how often, like, I think, like, typical bullying, like, physical bullying is, like, too much of a thing now. And it's not... If you see it, generally, like, nowadays, people will stand up to it.
Okay, but
But, like, I
the
think...
Flash is supposed to be a cool kid, right?
Is he supposed to be a cool kid?
He's
I
supposed
don't
to.
read Spider-Man
He's supposed
comics.
to be. He's supposed to be the jock. He's supposed to be the blonde.
What I saw in that movie
big boy.
was someone that was way worse than Peter Parker
I
in
think-
social status.
I think
I
that
guess
I think
so.
that it's good in the sense of how bullying in today's society has been kind of adjusted in the sense where back in the day you just need to be muscular and you just need to get to pick on them. But now bullying can be a lot more tactful and strategic, where it's less about you seeming like the immediately apparent bad guy and everybody else being bystanders, but a lot more easier between you just be, he's funny while he's doing it, and because he's funny I can like him and I can get behind that, even though in reality somebody's paying for it. So I think that's reflective. I think that was kind of weird that they made Flash completely. It was weird. He wasn't Flash. He wasn't like. He's not Flash. He's a bully and he's a good one. But like.
I don't agree with that. I don't think he was a good bully.
Yeah, he was
good
kind of a
bully.
shithead. Like he wasn't even good. You know,
He wasn't-
I
it
really-
wasn't
I take
really
it back.
affect Peter at all.
No,
Other than
it literally
the party
didn't.
scene.
He's like.
Nothing
other than
happened.
Well, it was kind of like Peter Parker at best going like, well, dang it, Flash! I can't believe
It's
you've
like
done
having
this
an
to me,"
annoying
and then move
fly
on.
around you. It's not like a bully.
Yeah, but it's like, how often do you want to see Peter Parker get bullied?
Did you see Spider-Man 1?
I did see Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1, I think, did a good job of
Oh,
showing.
Yeah, really
that
reflective of how much crap he got back
With
when
Joe
he was.
Manganiello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it was interesting to see Peter Parker, instead of topping Flash in terms of like being Spider-Man, he topped him by just being Peter Parker. Peter Parker's just a smart kid. Whenever he was like topping Flash in terms of like being Spider-Man, that wasn't apparent because he wasn't Peter Parker. He was just Spider-Man and he was just doing shit, and nobody attributed what he did at those times to Peter Parker. So it's just like Flash is like, hey, whatever, good for Spider-Man, but he wasn't really thinking, oh, Peter.
Another thing I just didn't like about the movie was, where's Harry? Give me Harry.
I don't need a Harry.
I
don't
need
need-
Harry in my life.
I think that
Well, the thing that if they introduce Harry Osborn and then they're gonna introduce Norman Osborn, and
Yeah, but they don't need to make him into the Green Goblin right
well,
away.
they don't. But then it's like, how are they gonna fit that? So many characters from the Spider-Man universe into the already established Marvel cinematic
that's the
universe.
kind of, it was kind of like, the way that they introduced Spider-Man into the Marvel universe was kind of the equivalent of like running up to somebody when they're at their house and they're like, pack your things, you got 5 minutes, you got to pack all your Marvel favorite characters, and we got to go. You got to go to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's like, okay, can I bring Harry Osborn? No, you can't bring Harry.
You can get this fat replacement instead.
You just,
there-
I thought he was fun. Like,
I
like
didn't
Ned.
like Ned. I didn't like
I like
Ned at
Ned.
all.
I like that.
I like Ned a lot.
I'd like to see Ned become Green Goblin. That would be crazy.
He wouldn't be Green Goblin. He'd be the Hobgoblin, my boy. Pay attention to the comics.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think how it worked.
I'm just kidding. But Ned's, I really
He's
enjoy
not
Ned.
sorry.
He's not.
I just love this scene where he's like, I'm watching porn just in the library. Oh man, that was so.
But like, he doesn't need a sidekick.
He doesn't, but it does more for his Spider-Man role because he's always talking to himself, isn't he?
He's
To the
talking
point where he's kind of like
he's.
always.
But
had
now
this inner
he has a
monologue.
suit that he can talk to, and he
Yeah.
also has this
I think that's kind of
useless
But
friend
now
he can
also
talk
has,
to.
yeah, he's useless friend.
That's super helpful.
Yeah, he's super helpful.
I mean, it's-
Google Maps, my dude.
He saves him from the shocker.
Oh yeah, that's
I didn't. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot about the shocker because he's so forgettable.
I mean, yeah, that was really like it's just like way to show how toss away this character is. That literally all he is just a pair of gauntlets. And you just kill him straight out to like it's their way to let you know, hey, people can die in this film.
Whoa.
But no, not those people, just this guy. Anyways, here's these gloves.
Yeah, it was really Disney movie.
Yeah,
I felt it was too Disney for me.
I guess so, but it's
I think it's one of the more
I think it's Disney in a good way.
child-friendly superheroes, probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kid merch.
I
that
you know,
see
it's
in
just like
public.
you know,
But I guess it's the appeal of Spider-Man.
yeah,
is
he's a
that-
kid.
Yeah.
That's why people loved him so much because he
But
was
then
so
he goes
much
to
more
college.
relatable.
Yeah,
Well, he's
but-
not in college now.
yeah,
'Cause-
no one remembers that.
Because the
What
thing
do
was
you
is
mean
that
no one remembers that? I mean, no one remembers the clones? The clone saga? I'm sorry, I'm a
Clone
huge
saga.
Spider-Man.
I'm not
nerd.
even there.
Oh, dude.
Get on my level, okay? Get tone yourself
No,
down.
get on my level.
I don't want to get on your level.
Are we talking about Ben Reilly here?
We're
Who's
talking about a
Ben
lot
Reilly?
of exactly. They don't know. They don't know.
Like,
who it
listen,
is.
listen. All I'll say about that is just simply Ben Reilly has the best alternate Spider-Man outfit by
With
far.
the hoodie.
With the hoodie,
I like
absolutely,
that.
literally,
Spider-Verse yet,
yeah.
okay?
That Spider-Man outfit that Peter Parker wears when he's not in his super suit, that's Ben Reilly's outfit for the most part. It's a toned down version, but basically Ben Reilly's outfit is just red jumpsuit, not like a jumpsuit, like a red spandex suit, and then a blue hoodie
With the sleeves torn off.
with the sleeves torn off, but like the sleeves torn off in a cool way.
I know,
In the cool 80s way?
Oh,
Yeah.
the cool 80s way. And then like the side, like it's like a spray painted red spider on the hoodie. Like, oh, it's so much cooler if you didn't ruin Spider-Man for like half a year.
I love how you guys don't know what we're talking about.
No,
I don't.
I'm
I'm not
lost.
into.
Well,
the
Ben
whole-
Reilly for it was considered one of the worst arcs just because people didn't like this plot twist. It was revealed that Peter Parker wasn't actually the real Spider-Man. It was revealed that he was a clone and Ben Reilly was the real Spider-Man, and people hated that so damn much. They're like, "Oh wait, sorry, we must have
kinda
typed
dumb,
this.
yeah.
We must have typed this wrong. Ben Reilly's the clone. Peter Parker's the real boy." And then everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, okay now, very well." But yeah, that
They
was.
begrudgingly accept.
They begrudgingly accepted the
You guys
fact.
know about the Black Spider-Man?
The new one
Miles
coming out.
Miles
There we
Yeah.
go. You guys know about him, but you don't know about Ben Reilly? Get out of here.
That's so obscure.
What do you mean it's obscure?
Well, everybody talks about Miles Morales like he's like the new god of Spider-Man or something.
But he's not. I don't think Miles Morales is a good character though.
You don't?
He's too good at everything.
Oh, well, the way I've heard about him being described is that he's kind of like the Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming, where he kind of loses a lot.
Yeah, but like he doesn't lose anything.
Does he?
I'm,
Does he?
you know,
Isn't this his
I don't
conflict
know
with
enough. I'm in these boys' position where I don't know enough
I don't know
about.
what's going on. Yeah, this
No.
is my
So
topic.
I just think Miles Morales. He's a cool alternate version. I think he's a good addition. I don't necessarily think he's better than Peter Parker, but that doesn't mean that he's necessarily bad at all. Because Peter Parker is like way up there in the ranking of Spider-Man superheroes, and I think he's good for carrying the banner of Spider-Man. But like, it's the kind of thing where like, when they made Nightwing Captain America, you can make him Captain America, but you can't also not make Steve Rogers Captain America at the same time.
They made Nightwing Captain America.
Wait, Nightwing. Who am I thinking of?
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier. Who's the guy that
The Falcon?
The Falcon. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
Relax,
talking
my
about-
boy.
Nightwing.
I'm talking about Falcon. I'm sorry. I think it was interesting that they made him Captain America. That because when Steve Rogers dies in the Civil War comics,
Spoilers.
When Steve Rogers died in the Civil War comics.
It's fine. No one's gonna watch this far into the podcast.
100% guaranteed.
when he dies, literally, the title of Captain America gets passed around like 3 times. First, it's like Nightwing for a little bit because he's the only one that like really knew how to.
Nightwing again. You threw
Nightwing. It's always
He
Nightwing.
travels universes.
Hawkeye.
I guess so. He's pretty cool.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
When Hawkeye, he becomes Captain America for a little bit because he knows how to handle the shield, and then he's like, well, I don't really want to do this. So then they made Bucky, Winter Soldier, Captain America for a little bit, and he was good at it, but he's like, it kind of feels weird that I'm doing this and not Steve. So then they made Falcon do it, and he's like, well, can I still keep the wings? And they're like, yeah, you can still keep the wings. And he's like, all right.
Oh, so now he's American Eagle, not instead of Falcon.
That's actually super funny.
He becomes the American Eagle as Captain America.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not reading any current Marvel comics because I just feel like Marvel hasn't really doing the best job of making comics.
Actually, I really want to read Gwenpool. That looks really fun.
Gwenpool.
I've heard a lot of good things about.
I've heard a lot of good things about it too. I'll say that.
Gwen Stacy as like Deadpool.
Okay, thank you.
No, not Deadpool.
Do you know who
Spider-Man.
Do you know who Gwen Stacy is?
Wait, no, Deadpool. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something
Relax.
else.
We gotta fill in Cameron on who Gwen Stacy is. He doesn't know who Gwen Stacy is.
I don't read comics.
She's the
sorry.
blonde girl in Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
She was played by
She
Emma
dies?
I
Stone.
think so.
Emma Stone, yeah.
You know, she gets the
Oh, yeah.
really gross
Yeah.
crack in the back.
Now it hit my memory.
Yeah,
I almost saved you, but you were this close to the ground.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most dramatic comic book events that happens. Like that literally.
Yeah, they made it really
Spider-Man-
bad in the movies.
Spider-Man in the comics never killed anybody until Gwen Stacy dies by Green Goblin's hand, and then I think he kills Green Goblin. I'm not entirely sure.
Kills Green Goblin.
He gets real
Norman
mad.
Osborn or Harry Osborn? Because
I think he gets
Norman.
Norman. Norman Osborn actually sleeps with Gwen Stacy.
that's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
We
It's
understand.
fine. We could swear.
It's kind of like it's kind of like
That's kind of like Lex Luthor cloning
was-
Lois Lane.
It was
After
before.
Lois Lane threw the spear in the pool of water.
Dude, this was a period in comics before Disney absorbed everything.
Yeah, I get it.
I just
But
like
still, I feel like they added that just for like, ooh, that this happened for shock effect.
yeah,
Yes.
like basically like all I know about comic books as of late is thanks to like Comic Book Girl 19's help basically because I just like I don't have any money.
I only watch
I don't want to.
comics and diversity for comic book news because
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, but Comic Book Girl's really good because like she had like a really in-depth conversation about how Marvel as of late they're really inflating comic books in the sense of that they never ever like
Stop.
what? Oh, you play footsie with
Yeah,
him?
he's playing footsie
Stop
with me.
doing that, man.
Creeping
But like
me out.
with Marvel comics as of late, they would rather be caught dead than make a series that goes to like 800 like the original Spider-Man used to. They know that in terms of sales, the first comic book always makes much more revenue than the future ones. So if they just keep making short ones that go about 18 to 20 volumes or whatever, however you want
And they
to.
make them pretty garbage too, I think.
I just think that I don't know. I think they
It's like it's just for profit now. There's no love of the craft.
I think that the people do care about it, but I feel like the companies themselves, it's kind of like, how when movies are made, they're not necessarily made by one director. They're made by the studio themselves that demand certain things happen within the film. It's kind of like that. They have to be kept short. You can't let certain things happen that they don't want to happen, and you have to make things happen that they want to happen. And it results in something that isn't necessarily really fresh, and it dies quickly because of the short span of the series. Most of the time, it's not even that they plan out to have it from like 1 to 20 or 18. It's usually that it just gets canceled because like the studio or like the groups just keep messing with it to the point where nobody buys it anymore.
Actually, to jump on that point, for movies, do you think nowadays anyone? Okay, Connor, you didn't even let me finish the question. Would anyone even consider making a To Kill a Mockingbird or Huckleberry Finn movie?
Oh God, no,
Oh,
man!
he said the N word.
Like I just feel like the classics are classics, and they're not going to change that. And there's just too much political climate as of late, and it sucks that this is happening. Like the fact that Wolfenstein got so much shit for Nazis are the very clearly the bad guys, But and then it's like, you can't believe you guys are doing this. And it's like, oh, this is
Wait, what? They got shit for making Nazis the bad guys?
Yeah, like
What?
I don't know.
yeah, like it's like we haven't been doing this since like I don't know, before the
The
90s.
past 2 games have been doing that.
Yeah, but no. Why did they get shit from it though?
Because
PC culture.
I'm so confused.
they're like the thing is that like it wasn't even necessarily like politically correct culture. It's just like I think that they may have banked on it on the fact that like people are really really pissed off at Nazis, and like you should be because they're Nazis. But then at the same time, it was just like it was so easy to like label them then as like social justice warriors and just like totally discredit them, even though the whole foundation of killing Nazis and like beating them as the bad guys has been their foundation for like not centuries, decades.
Centuries.
Centuries.
I remember in 1641 the Nazis ruled over my
King
hometown.
William of Normandy punched a fascist in the face.
Oh boy.
This is gonna go downhill real soon.
Hey, also, just how long do we want these to be?
I don't know,
It's
dude.
like an
How
hour.
long is this already?
It's at like 26 minutes right now.
Oh, dude, that's nothing.
It's nothing? Okay, just making sure.
We need
That's
to
like
How
half
long
of
are your
one of,
podcast?
like 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. You want me to tell you why?
Why?
Because 1 hour is too long and 30 minutes is too short.
Yeah, okay. I felt
45
like an hour would
minutes.
be too long.
That's when I had to go to the bathroom and we had to cut it short.
No, you see,
gotta go
people
to the
are
bathroom.
intimidated by 1 hour
yeah,
videos.
they don't like to sit down for that long.
Oh, I really
And 30
don't.
minutes just seems
I
like
don't really
not
think it's a
enough
good
content.
idea to define
Yeah.
whoever's watching it this far as somebody who gets intimidated by long stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Were you intimidated by long stuff, Connor?
Absolutely.
is there a story behind that, or just
Snakes.
Is it because you're a low T?
No!
Okay, I really
No,
Listen,
stop.
We
My
passed that
boy.
conversation. We passed it.
That's the beginning.
Please.
All right.
Going full circle.
Oh, by the way, my name's Connor.
Oh yeah, I guess
Oh,
We
did
never
not
introduced
introduce
ourselves.
No, we introduced ourselves,
Did
but
we?
if they forgot,
Oh, okay. I guess we'll go again. I don't know.
I don't
It's just to
remember.
remind them.
I don't even remember if we introduced ourselves.
What's
No,
your
we
name?
introduced ourselves. What's your guys' names again?
Oh, I'm Cameron. I'm yeah. I'm
You're the one
Cameron.
with the mic.
The one with the mic and laptop in front of me.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm Kenny. I'm the one who's Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell,
That's important. To know.
yeah.
That's very important.
If you could see me right now, I'd be Asian.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm the one with black hair.
Ooh.
That's your.
yeah.
But also Mexican. That's
Okay.
also important.
Oh, wait, are we just gonna list our?
I don't know.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
ethnicities.
You
Just
guys are
do what
both
you
white.
want. Yeah, we're both white.
We're both white.
Doesn't matter. They don't matter.
I'm
Yeah, it's
me
German
and
with
Kenny
the
show.
tints
Yeah, I
of the
guess
rest
so.
of Europe.
What do you mean Europe doesn't matter? It's a shit fest over there right now. Do you want to be part of the EU, Connor?
I don't keep up with politics enough.
Yeah, I don't
to
either.
care.
I don't know how to.
You guys are 20 years old. You better start.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll think,
You
we'll
both
think about
answered
it.
the
You know,
same
if the
thing.
world burns out, I'd be fine. It's just
Yeah,
like,
you know?
if my video games are still cool.
Oh my god.
Listen, what if we take all our video game designers and we put them over here?
That would be
I'd
horrible.
follow.
I would not follow them at all.
Separate EA from the rest of them. They're like wolves.
Actually, I think EA should die as a company.
I don't think that's gonna
I
happen.
think that. Well, here's the
Did
thing.
they just get bought out? Or was that
No,
another
oh,
company?
that was Fox.
They
dude.
bought out
Oh,
a company.
If you're thinking of anything that happened with EA, it's that Disney gave them like a slap on the wrist for messing with Star
Yeah.
Wars IP. Here's the thing. EA can. Here's the thing. No matter what,
Oh, he's getting close.
EA dies, those juicy IPs will just be left in the air to be bought.
Oh yes. Tell me
What-
more.
What's important in these is that we don't kill the IPs.
I agree.
The problem is that EA's already doing that while they're still alive.
I think it's hard for me to determine whether or not they're going to make another Star Wars Battlefront.
What do you mean? It's
because
hard for you
it's
to
gonna-
like,
decide.
literally,
I feel like they will.
Here's the
Not right away.
here's what I'm
Yeah, it's
noticing.
going to take a while.
Video game advertisements, for the most part, when I notice that video games are released, the advertisements for them on television usually last maybe like a month or so, maybe a little bit longer. Battlefront was like released almost like 2.5 months ago.
They're still going, dude.
And they're still advertising it. And you want to know why? Because they're not getting their revenue back. They're not getting their money. Give me the money.
Well, I think they already made their revenue back. They just want more money.
Well, obviously they're
Yeah, they always
EA.
want
Yeah.
more money.
I mean,
I like dragons.
I mean, I'm not
Like
sure
dragons?
how much
Okay.
was Star
they're
Wars.
the dragons to my elf.
Well, stop, dude.
Oh my god.
Well, I think the game's $60 base, right?
But how much money did they spend on making it though?
I don't know. Not enough, obviously.
I think they spent like at least $2.
Upward of
Yeah,
at least.
for sure.
But they went to McDonald's. I think they spent upwards to 60 million.
Can I get a Star Wars 2 Battlefront? I'm sorry, that's not on the dollar menu anymore. Fuck.
I'm pretty sure they spent 60 million.
Yeah. I mean, I think all you gotta do is.
Oh, we
I could be wrong though. We should research.
We
this.
should probably say we researched
a large amount of
nothing
money
before this.
Oh,
yeah, we don't research anything.
They
Yeah.
did
We
millions.
sat down and then we just like, hey, what do you want to talk
Yo,
about?
but you want to talk about something that didn't take a lot of money to make?
We talked about
Iron Sky 2.
We talked about
Oh, I haven't seen
multiple.
that
What
yet.
that is.
It's coming out
Oh,
next
Iron
year.
Sky.
Oh, that's right. It's
coming out
that already
next
came
year.
out.
I
Ah,
totally
dude.
forgot what Iron
I
Sky
want to
was.
see Hitler riding a dinosaur. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Oh,
like
Sarah
God,
Palin.
no, no.
I feel like
I
it's
can't
just gonna be
believe-
bad.
Like literally, that
scared.
movie was
It's
made.
coming out in theaters, dude.
Is it?
It's coming out in theaters.
Should we see it?
I want to see it so much.
Oh my god, that movie is just like I can't believe it was
Oh
made in this time and era.
Totally forgot what happened in Iron Sky.
They came
Well, the Nazis
down
were on the
from
moon,
The Nazis were on the moon.
and then they stole the melanin from a black guy,
Yes, they made him white.
Oh yeah.
and then apparently like it was
It was a beautiful movie.
It was a fun movie.
I
but-
love that movie. It's
It
not
was-
the greatest movie of all time.
I
It's
wouldn't
like
watch it again.
I would watch it again.
It's just
one-
like a
one-time thing for me.
it's like watching a train wreck that somehow doesn't get derailed. It just keeps fucking things up as it passes on. It's like, how is it still going?
It's not even on the railroads anymore.
It's multi-track drifting. Oh, it's beautiful. Dude. Well,
Yeah.
I want another dog. I want another Peter Parker.
Mr. Peter.
Sure.
You might as well give me one too, please.
Yeah, can I also get one?
Non-brand soda.
Yeah, non-brand soda.
Non-brand.
It's not even soda.
It's water.
It's drinks given to us by Mr. Peter.
I just pour a bunch of spice into my mouth, then go
In my
my
mouth.
mouth.
My
I
mouth.
pour a bunch of spice into my
Not
mouth
named.
and
Wait,
then
wait,
guzzle
wait,
it
wait,
with
wait,
carbonated water.
The sound of not being
Oh,
sponsored.
wait, do it all at once. Oh, never mind.
I'm not gonna open mine all the way.
Yeah,
Pathetic.
you're weird. Why do you do that? What-
Because
what
I
do you
feel like a babe sucking on the.
now we're gonna hear the fucking sipping the whole time from
Oh, I'm
you.
sorry.
That's how you drink
I
it.
can't wait to get no comics except for the one person that says you guys did everything wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, we know we did everything wrong.
Kenny, be ready to comment on this video when it goes out. You guys did everything wrong.
I'll be first. If Orvan does this before me, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna put that in here and staple it. If he does this before me, I'm going to go to his house and fucking kill him.
Fair.
That's a threat, dude.
Yeah,
You
this
can
is
get
permanent.
arrested
This
for
is
that.
permanent. No, you can't. Nah.
Listen,
Tell the SJWs that, my dude.
What are they?
God dang it,
That has nothing to do with this.
I know.
It'd be very
what?
weird.
this just reminds me of those fucking elves. You know?
Oh,
The
yeah.
elves.
Yo, actually though, I don't like elves.
You don't like elves?
They're
Like
very
in
low
games
T.
or like
I
Yes, so.
I just like. I think that. Oh no, well you were gonna say something. You say something.
No, I'm like. What do you mean by elves? Like in games and movies and any
I think
sort of media?
primarily movies. In games, they're sort of different,
I would-
Yeah.
but they're very prissy in movies.
I would.
don't like
I
that.
can see that.
I would like to make the ultimate ranking of elves based on media because elves have been used so much. Like literally, like elves have been like from like these immortal beings that like have legacies beyond beyond written history, like in Lord of the Rings, to like we're slaves in Dragon Age, but we used to be really cool, but now we're not because humans were around for too long.
Yeah.
And-
Humans always mess things up in games. It seems.
Quick question: you mean any media?
Please,
Any
no.
media. Yeah.
Are we missing
Any
something?
media?
What are you getting at?
Nothing.
I think he's talking about like inappropriate medias.
Sure.
Elves.
No, I ban those.
You could be an elf.
You,
Or you could be a ranger.
God.
What's the game we're playing called?
Guild Wars.
I don't
Guild Wars
remember. I just remember I turn on my PC and I play it for like an hour.
I just remember that I wake up and I have guns in my hands and I'm like, I'm ready to kill.
Dude, it's so easy.
We're only in like the beginner map still.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
It's kind of interesting fighting people with guns when I have a bow. It's just like,
Oh, that's right.
bullets shoot fast.
Really?
Bullets go fast.
Have you done PvP?
I haven't done PvP.
Have you done PvP?
No.
I don't like PvP.
Oh, really?
Why?
I don't like PvP in MMOs.
I guess so.
No, it's just a lot. There's a lot of people who just go for the lower people.
Oh, that's cheap
and
though.
like
no
go,
honor.
It makes it no fun.
I remember back in RuneScape, remember that one time where you can like hop over that line and that's when PvP begins and it's all like anybody can kill you?
Yeah.
I remember like on the left side of the map there's like this tiny church and my character was like, I think my character's name was like Mega Monk.
Mega Monk.
Yeah, Mega Monk. And so what I would do is I'd go into the center of the place because there was like this area where like bones were everywhere and you could just bury them and you could get like prayer skill. And then I'd go to the church and be like, greetings. I was like 11. This story isn't funny.
That was perfect, dude.
Yeah, this is going nowhere.
The point is that I had a childhood, sort of.
Wow,
And you
really?
got killed as soon as you got entered.
Hey.
Oh, it's like greetings, and then like.
I was gonna say, For Honor got dedicated servers recently.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my
dude.
god!
Wait, what?
It took him this long?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they like literally like, servers based in For Honor were like based on the hosts' Wi-Fi servers the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that they thought for a set like. I don't even want to talk about that. Bunch of fucking morons. Good lord. Huh? Maybe we should. I don't know. Make our game playable.
But I don't want to.
But I don't have anything else to say. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
But money.
Back on the topics of elves, though.
Okay.
Oh, back
What
back-
else do you
Yo,
dislike?
please. I don't
What
want
else
to
do you-
talk about elves.
What else do you not like? You've been holding a grudge against them this entire
I
episode.
really don't like.
We just learned this about you. You don't like them. Why?
I was gonna say which ones.
Yeah, which ones?
Which ones?
I
We
don't.
never ranked our elves.
I don't like the elves in the Hobbit for one.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's your opinion.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, it is my opinion.
They're one of the earliest forms of elves
Yeah.
being used in media. The elves were like,
Oh, you okay? I mean the movie.
yeah. Well, that's because like,
The way
listen,
that
I don't
it's
like anything in the Hobbit trilogy.
Wow. Not even the big spider.
You don't like Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug?
I think that was like they were riding way too much on the fact that people love Benedict Cumberbatch. Like,
Yeah.
not in
I
2012.
do not love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I think
he's
he's
really cool.
I think
He's okay.
He's a good actor. He was super saturated, and people got sick of him. And
I think The Rock is headed the same way. Okay, let me tell you this. You guys have heard it from hell and back from me saying this, but the people need to know. The Rock is taking up all the action spots in film.
well, that's what I.
Every single action movie has The Rock in it,
They're
and
usually
it's
not that
starting
great,
to
though.
annoy me.
I wouldn't say that, but the most prominent ones do, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. Like there's like Jumanji, this new like Clash movie where it's like the arcade game with like the
yeah.
wolf, the alligator, and the gorilla. Like I just like that's the kind of movie where like it doesn't work unless you have somebody important in it. But the thing is that like with The Rock, it's just like it's not about Jumanji anymore. It's not about a big gorilla. It's about The Rock.
You're right. It's like he takes all the attention towards him.
Yeah.
He's like,
I don't know why. My eye is just magnetized towards him.
Is it his pecs?
I think
Like
it's
his-
his bulging
he's a
biceps.
very handsome and
his
interesting man.
high T count.
He's got high
It's-
teeth.
he has possibly one of the highest T counts in history, apart from Abraham Lincoln.
Must be the beard.
Dude, that guy was like 6'7" or something.
Oh, true.
Really?
Yeah, he wrestled my boy.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
He was like he wrestled. He was a lumberjack. He was a lawyer, and he became a. I'm not sure if this is particularly true, but he went on a boat like a. What do you call those boats?
Like canoe?
Pontoons?
They're like they got like the wheels on them and like they used to train.
fair.
A ferry. He was on a ferry and he saw like slave auctions, and that's like what inspired him to like really get into that kind of stuff. We're like getting rid of slavery, but
On
for the
board.
most part, on the other hand, I don't know. It's really, really kind of uncomfortable talking about like Lincoln's interests at the time for.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention in history class because I didn't like history. I still don't.
If you want to talk really high T presidents, let's talk about Andrew Garfield. No, I'm sorry. Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew
Oh
Jackson.
God.
Still,
Pretty sure he murdered a man.
He murdered a man on the White House. Somebody came up to shoot him. He missed, so he pulled out his own gun and he shot him on the White House field.
I'm pretty sure it was a duel, though.
Nope, some guy just ran up to him and tried to kill him. Listen, I'm pretty sure, like, if this podcast manages to flourish years from now, we're just gonna have to put like bullet notes, like,
I was thinking of doing that.
Connor says something wrong here. Connor says something wrong here. Here.
No, I'm not gonna. You think we're ever gonna touch these after we're done with them?
No, I'm never gonna look at them again.
No, dude, I
just
don't want to
think
look
that-
at them at all.
I think it's just really important for like everybody to understand. We're like 20 to 21 at best. We're still growing.
We're still growing. We
As
need those
people-
milk. We need that milk in our bones.
Listen,
Come
our
on,
T
boys.
levels aren't that great
We
right
are
now.
carbon dating ourselves.
Yeah.
We just
With
please,
technology.
please be gentle on us in the
With
future.
the technology of whatever we're using. What are we using?
You don't know how to carbon date?
I don't know how to carbon date.
Use radiation.
Yeah.
You
I guess,
look for their half lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not pay attention in science?
I don't pay attention to school.
Well, by the way, we're at a 41-minute mark.
No.
So,
I mean, should we stop?
I mean, we could
Let's
go
keep
on
going
for
for a
like
bit.
another 4
All right.
minutes.
So okay, well, you know what? Let's say our favorite like fantasy race.
Fantasy race.
If you don't like the elves, what do you?
Like from any
Oh, okay,
media?
easy.
Listen.
Any media?
Okay, go ahead.
Gorons, my boy.
Okay.
Gorons are, first of all, almost indestructible apart from water.
Okay, that's fair.
And then
Oh, this is
they're peace-loving mofos. They just eat rocks.
Okay. For
Yeah, they're
me,
pretty cool.
it's either the. Oh, God, I hope I don't pronounce this wrong. The Githzerai.
I don't know what that
From,
is.
uh,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
They're from Dungeons and Dragons. They're basically like the race of meant to be monks.
They're space pirates.
Okay. And then either that or the Quaggins from Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. Yesterday in Guild Wars, I got the ability to turn into it. And they're like these tiny, like foot tall
It's
beings with like legs and arms, and they look like little orcas. And like they got like turtle shells for hats. And they're so great, and they run around and they hop and they can go underwater and swim.
Throw it in the water.
Please,
Please, no.
I
Don't
don't
do it,
want you to
Lewis.
nerd out about Guild Wars anymore.
Okay, well that's all. Okay, Cameron, your turn.
No, Kenny goes. I'm trying to look
Oh,
up this race.
I love the Warcraft orcs. Those guys are just so cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
that's pretty
Wait. Before we go to Cameron, what do you guys think of the Warcraft movie?
Oh, I think it was great.
I liked it. It
It
was
wasn't
okay.
bad. I think that it was clearly meant for like international viewers, which is why a lot of the politics that normally is in like Warcraft content was like really simplified because they needed to translate it properly. It's not that the fact that international people can't understand it, but like when you talk that in depth, it can be kind of hard to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's meant to be World of Warcraft. It's not meant to necessarily be realistic fantasy. When I looked at the armor, I thought it was stupid for like 15 minutes, and then I realized this is what it looks like in the game.
Yeah, I thought the armors looked cool.
Yeah,
I loved cartoony designs like that, and I think they did their best with what they could do in the movie. But even still, I still loved that design. It's
Yeah.
my favorite armor design.
I think it's a B movie, which is the best video game score a movie has ever gotten.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
that's fair.
Video game movies are utter shit.
Usually.
Has there ever been a good one?
There's probably
Warcraft?
Yeah.
No, Warcraft.
I mean, Hitman
I
was
liked
Hitman was a good
Hitman
movie,
was okay.
but it
Yeah,
wasn't a
yeah,
good
If you
video
made a
game
movie about John Wick, then you could say John Wick, maybe.
Or John
John
Wick.
Wick. John Wick's pretty cool.
John
He was in
Wick.
Payday. So
How
you
was
could say that.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
You guys
haven't heard
watch
of it.
did not
Assassin's
watch
Creed?
I did not
I
watch it. I
didn't
didn't give a
care.
damn.
It was bad apparently.
Listen,
Yo, okay, but like we gotta talk about the Super Mario Bros.
Well, no,
movie.
we gotta.
Okay.
say
Oh,
Cameron's
back to
favorite
me?
race.
Yeah,
Okay,
go.
wait, go. What's
Well, you're gonna hate me, Alan, but it's from Guild Wars.
What are they?
Yeah.
Well, Skrit. They're so much fun. Little rat things. But I think
are they?
the better race is Coden.
I don't know any of this.
I know, but hey, do you want to see a picture of a Conan?
Not really.
Oh, you
Look
pulled
at
it
that
up?
beef polar
Is that a bear?
That's a polar
that-
bear.
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
He's pretty badass, but they're not used a lot, which disappoints me.
What do you mean?
They're only in like 2 maps, maybe.
Yeah, I think Guild Wars has some of the most interesting non-playable races. It's just such
Why are they non-playable though?
Because you have
it's
to
so
voice
hard
line
making
the whole
new ones.
thing. You have to change the main storyline for everyone.
Good.
Because you have to introduce a race.
Good.
So yeah.
I think
Bring
they
in
do
the
a good
panda
enough job
bears.
I
with
think that
enough like that,
Oh, yeah.
that much story content and integrated into an MMO. Yeah, I think they do enough.
yeah, we all got into Guild Wars and we were all just playing Walking Dead. I'm so sorry, Lee.
Spoilers.
The Walking Dead season 1. Connor just finished it. Let's hear your thoughts.
No, I don't want to hear his thoughts.
I lost all my power.
Okay, let's finish that. What did you want to talk about? Super Mario?
Oh, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Have you guys all watched it?
You mean the one?
Oh, the old one?
The old one
The
where
old-
it's
no.
like my name's
You have
Mario.
never watched
No, I've
it?
never
We gotta
watched
watch it today, Kenny.
I don't really want to
Is
watch
it the
Mario.
one? Is it the one where they're named Mario and Luigi Mario?
Yes, that one where it takes place in actual day Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like oh.
They're actual
That sounds
plumbers.
dumb.
It's extremely dumb,
Yeah, it's
which is
bad.
why it's a 10 out of 10 movie.
And isn't Bowser like a human?
It's like a weird
basically?
human mushroom lizard man.
Don't even stop with the Goomba's, man.
Okay.
Dude, you don't understand. It's
Wow.
a visual masterpiece. I've watched it like 10 times
The
when
story-
I was a kid.
It was also. I'm not gonna go into this much because we're almost out of time. But like, the history behind the production of it, because I'm pretty sure it was made by like a husband and wife team who were like insane. But that's like interesting too. But the point is that are we out of time?
Yeah, we're over by a minute, but it's fine.
Okay.
Let's close it out.
All right, get out of our cabin, I guess.
Wow.
Get out of our
Our
cabin.
ending. Okay.
Sure.
Get out of here.
All right. See
Get out
ya.
of our cabin.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Or I don't think you watch, but thank you.
We love you.